All right, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening. This is your Facebook meteorologist, Sean Bagden here, and we are live to talk to you about the impending winter storm that's coming into Wyoming starting tomorrow and going through the day on Wednesday, potentially even into Thursday early morning here. And we have a pretty widespread of outcomes going from west of the divide to east of the divide. And we're going to tell you our reasoning for both of these. Looking here at the current NWS forecast for low and high end snowfall amounts here, we can clearly see that story where you have this lower possibility on the left and the higher possibility on the right. As of right now, it is appearing to us that west of the divide, which would be following kind of this line of mountains right here, that would be the divide. We're likely going to be achieving these lower end amounts here. When you start going off to the east of the divide, that's when things start getting a bit more interesting. And we could be talking about amounts in these higher ranges over here. Just from what we've been seeing in models recently, pulling in a lot of that cold air, seasonally cold air, anomalously cold air here. As we go through the day on Tuesday, it's looking to accelerate that push of cold air. And we've also been seeing an increase of snowfall amounts and banding features here, especially from South Pass, even the northern edge of, or the southern edge of Lander here up through Jeffrey City, Waltman, the northern suburbs of Casper here, as well as Casper Mountain, and then just south of Casey as well. And now models starting to hint at Gillette getting in on some pretty significant snowfall totals as well. Not shown here, likely just because this model depiction is only going through Wednesday morning. A lot of that stuff that happens up in Gillette is happening Wednesday morning through the evening hours. So likely going to be seeing higher totals than this, but expecting a pretty significant band of heavy snow to develop, especially Tuesday through Tuesday night and even into the early morning hours of Wednesday here from South Pass City, just on the southern end of Lander, just south of Riverton, up through Waltman, and then just south of Casey and just north of Casper, going all the way up toward Gillette, where a good 8 to 12 inches of snow is certainly possible in areas along this band here. Casper Mountain, we may even be seeing a closure of the road there. Would not be surprised of that, as we are anticipating about 12 inches or so up there. Likely going to be seeing winter storm watches issued across this southern region here, as we are expecting these higher end snowfall totals to be achieved as we go through the day here. So what we're going to have a look at right now, we're going to switch over to some models here and stop sharing the NWS map. And we're going to have a quick look to show you why we're thinking this. So we're going to bring up a lower resolution model at first, and we'll go higher resolution once we start talking snowfall totals here. But basically what we're looking at here is vorticity. This is the energy embedded in the system aloft. And there's going to be a lot of it. The one important thing you do need to know with vorticity is generally the heaviest snowfall banding features occur along bands of vorticity and just to the south or leading edge of the band of vorticity. So this would line up pretty well with our thinking here, with a heavy snow band developing here just north of Casper, and then down through the middle of nowhere here, really, which is good news. We were thinking it was going to get pretty bad in Riverton, but models have since shifted off to the south and east a little bit. But through Jeffrey City, definitely Waltham, and even South Pass as well. Going to get in on this heavy banding feature that develops right out in front and along this band of vorticity here. So very interesting. We're going to be having to nowcast this because a lot of changes can happen with these very narrow bands, but as of right now, this seems like a very probable solution. 12Z models, 18Z models, those are the midday models, and then now the evening model runs are now showing this band shifting off to the south and east of what we were thinking the other day here. And it is very close in Casper right now. If we're looking at snowfall totals in Casper, it really depends on how much sun shines during the day. Because it does look like if we pull over to, hold on here, let me get the precipitation map up. It does appear, actually, let me go over here. It does appear that precipitation is going to be on the scattered but intense side in the Casper area as the most intense bands are rolling through. You can see that right here. Casper is located right where my mouse is right now, if you're able to see that. And you can see it's right on the southern end of that heavier band. And any more intense returns that we're seeing on the simulated radar image are scattered. Would likely definitely see thunder snow here in the Casper area as this big old thunderstorm rips through. And we do have those cold temperatures aloft, so likely with that instability we're seeing out in front of this, we'll likely see thunder in some of these heavier bands, which is very cool. I wish I was out there for this event for sure. But again, this is that band of vorticity we're talking about. Heaviest snowfall right here, Gillette, down to the south and west across I-25 near Casey, just south of Casey, and in between there and Casper, and then down through South Pass as well. As you go back in time, you can see that band start to develop near South Pass and push off in a training fashion off to the north and east here. That is where you're going to be seeing your heaviest snowfalls with this system. Okay, breaking down the upper level maps here. This is very important. We're going to have a look at moisture. Moisture is, of course, very important when we're talking about snowstorms, as that is what is bringing you the snow. And if you don't have it, you're not going to get a lot of snow. And that is where we're going to start talking about the Tetons and west of the divide. Things are going to be very interesting in terms of forecasting here because you do have two mountain ranges in between the Bighorns, the moisture, and the Tetons there. You're going to have Togety Pass, you have the Bighorns, and then you finally have the Tetons. We're likely going to be seeing this band of moisture here getting wrung out over the Bighorns. That's why we are anticipating significant snowfall here. Likely seeing traction laws. We're likely to see road closures here across the Bighorn Mountains, especially on the day on Tuesday, potentially into the evening hours on Tuesday, as well as this heavy banding feature pushes on through and the upslope flow starts to kick in as this low really intensifies over the front range of the Rockies here. And then we'll have a secondary maximum of snowfall up Togety Pass, likely a little bit less in the way of snow, but still looking at some pretty good impacts over Togety Pass as well, with significant snowfall rates likely looking in the double digits on top of Togety Pass. That's certainly not the 2 feet that could possibly fall across the Bighorns, the couple passes we have there in the Bighorns, but certainly a double-digit snowfall total is certainly possible across the Togety Pass area. And then definitely watch out as you're going through the upwind side or the upslope side of the Wind Rivers here, down through Lander, from Dubois down to Lander. You'll likely also have potential at double-digit snowfall totals too, but that is going to be very conditional based on surface temperatures, but definitely those higher up regions of Lander, you're likely going to be seeing those double-digit snowfall totals. Downtown, it's going to be close. temperatures are going to be in the mid 30s, but if we can get those heavier rates to mix in, we'll likely get that rain snow mix out of there, bring those colder temperatures down from aloft, and we're going to be seeing those heavier snowfall rates happen in Lander. As you head on over into the Tetons here, Jackson Hole, the Tetons, Star Valley, and the Teton Valley over in Idaho, we're looking at a very, very dry back end of this storm. So likely going to be seeing the low end outcome of the storm that we were showing you on the NWS forecast here. Likely going to be seeing less than an inch all the way from Jackson through Moran in Jackson Hole here, and then into Alpine and the Teton Valley of Idaho. We are likely to see less than an inch, maybe an inch of snow for these areas, given that dry air really mixing in. And I'm even not that optimistic about Teton Pass or the Tetons right now, given that we're not seeing an influx of moisture coming around the system here. Looking very dry at the moment for the Tetons, Teton Valley, Idaho, down through Alpine, the Star Valley. Looking very moisture starved at this time, especially west of the divide here. So likely not going to see more than a couple of inches up on Teton Pass out of this system, and a trace to maybe an inch in Jackson Hole, Star Valley, and Teton Valley with this event as well. And again, as we were talking, east of the divide, you're likely to see these higher snowfall totals here, likely pushing the 10-inch values up into Togety Pass, likely seeing 8 to 12 inches, potentially even 14 inches as you head into South Pass, up through Jeffrey City, Waltman, just north of Casper, just south of Casey, and up into Gillette and the Black Hills here. Casper Mountain again, likely to see significant impacts out of this winter storm here. Likely going to be seeing winter storm watches published overnight tonight for this banding feature that's expected to show up, especially given the recent model outputs here. We should actually go over that right now for you guys, just so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of these heavier snowfall totals we've been seeing models show here. Very important. So here we go. These are final snowfall totals as shown by the evening run of the NAM model, the high resolution North American model here. And you can clearly see this heavy band of snow we've been talking about for a couple of days now being depicted here by 8 to 12 inch, maybe even 14 inch totals in a southwest to northeast band here from South Pass City up through Gillette, the Black Hills, Devil's Tower, all those areas. The big question mark does remain Casper. Are we able to get this band to shift just enough south that we can get those double-digit totals into Casper? That is going to be a very now-casting sort of event. We're going to have to play that by ear as to if we're able to get those colder temperatures into Casper, some more cloudy conditions to develop, so temperatures are not able to rise as much through the day there as it is in that area where we would expect a dry slot to develop and likely push those temperatures up higher than expected. But again, there's only a couple of miles in between where we're going to be seeing temperatures in the 50s across southeast Wyoming and areas just north of Casper, which are going to be in the low to mid 30s with heavy snow. So this Casper is going to be a tough one to forecast right now. But at this time, I would say that Casper is in the clear right now, likely only seeing a little bit of snow at this point because I've been seeing that trend in a lot of models right now. But definitely we're going to have to keep an eye on Casper. It's going to be a very tough forecast there, but likely in the clear for now. We'll let you know in the future, like within the next couple of runs here, 12 hours or so, if anything changes with Casper. And of course, we'll be doing updates through the event. And again, Casper Mountain here, likely getting in on upslope flow as you're able to get that colder air in aloft. So that's why we're seeing enhanced snowfall totals up on Casper Mountain there. And again, you see these higher totals up along the Wind Rivers and into Yellowstone. This is likely going to be happening as well. We do have a winter weather advisory posted by the National Weather Service down here towards the Rock Springs area, down to Kemmerer, and hold on, and Evanston. Wow, I can't believe I forgot that one. But in that area, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect. I don't imagine they're going to be getting too much in the way of impacts across southwestern Wyoming. I believe that is just to cover this little band that is expected to sneak into Wyoming from the Uinta Mountains here in Utah, but I'm not expecting anything of consequence to impact the Kemmerer area, Evanston area, or Rock Springs area at this time, as that really dry air starts to push its way in to southwest Wyoming early on. And again, these totals across the Tetons here in Salt River Mountains, it's kind of hard to see there, but I'm not anticipating those to be up in the 2-foot range like we're seeing here. We are likely going to be seeing those lower end totals as depicted by the National Weather Service here, likely the 2 to 4 inch range for the mountains of the Salt River range, and then up into the Tetons here, probably about that 4 to 6 inch range you're seeing there, probably only a couple inches up in Teton Pass. So that is about all I have for you guys for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section and we'll make sure to get to them. But again, expecting that northeast to southwest facing band here from South Pass City up through Jeffrey City, Waltman, just north of Casper and in between there, and Casey, and up through Gillette, expecting those 8 to 12 inch snowfall totals in a very narrow band there. Also expecting very similar impacts across Togety Pass and South Pass City and the Bighorns. You better be prepared for some very interesting travel coming in on Tuesday into Tuesday night. There is significant snowfall, maybe even road closures are possible across these regions as the most intense bands of the storm move through. Definitely Tuesday night, something to watch. Other than that, that's about all we have for you guys here. And if you do have questions, make sure to leave them for us. And we will be posting updates as the storm gets underway tomorrow and especially on Tuesday for you guys. Stay safe out there and have a great night.